Once upon a time, in Gotham City.
Hello, Nana. I'm here to save the day.
Where did you find that? Criminals ruled the streets. Among them was a girl.
Selena!
Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
You want to go ahead and get started then?
Yes.
Alright. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I'm Sid Partu. Joining me today is...
The real Manos!
Indeed, and today we're here to review a Catwoman fan film. What is the name of that Catwoman fan film, sir?
It is called Rise of the Catwoman, Chapter 1, a DC Comics fan film.
Yay! So you picked this because it has who in it?
Lee Merriweather is in this, which... Well, I was looking for a Catwoman... I was looking for a Catwoman fan film. Sometimes I will, like... When we do our choices, I'll specifically think of a character and look for them. Mm-hmm. So this came up, and this was, like, very recently made. This is not last August. And I watched it, and I remember for the first few minutes looked, pretty professional looking, and then I realized, like, holy crap, Lee Merriweather was in it, who played Catwoman in the Batman the movie from 1966.
Oh, that's so cool that they got her for this. I'm assuming she's the grandmother then, huh?
Yes, she is.
That is a really cool little casting choice for a fan film. Usually you only see that with, like, Chekhov and Star Trek fan films.
Mm-hmm. And that's nice to see her get a little love, because she, I think, has been, from that series, has been always, like, the third string one. Like, everyone either talks about Eartha Kitt or
Edge of my seat, because...
Julie Newmar.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, everyone goes about Julie Newmar and, like, Eartha Kitt, and, like, yeah, she was okay. She was a pretty good Catwoman, too. She only had it for one movie. Mm. But,
that is super neat that they got her for that. And, like, it's one of those things where that would, on its own, just be neat and kind of fun and interesting or whatever. But and that would kind of be enough for the fan film. The fact is, this fan film is actually pretty good in a number of respects outside of that too.
I would agree with that. Yes.
I was pretty impressed with the production value and location scouting. Mm-hmm. Looks really nice. I can tell they're using actual camera equipment like dollies and rails and stuff, as opposed to just freehanding with the camera. Mm-hmm. The locations they're in look, really fitting. I'd probably hazard a guess to say they're maybe shooting this, like, in LA based on some of the houses and stuff, but it's not, like, overly distracting or anything. You don't see, like, the Hollywood sign in the background at any point.
Correct.
The CG integration's pretty good. I was really impressed with the practicality, or not the practicality, the production value in this.
I would agree with that, definitely. This is one of those fan films we've watched that I occasionally forget is a fan film.
Mm-hmm. It feels like it'd be like a Gotham spin-off or something.
Exactly. This is definitely, the production value is maybe just a few thousand away from being a Gotham episode as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, like the shot of Gotham from the distance with, like, Wayne Tower and everything, it is apparent that it's CGI. But it's not, like, so apparent that it looks really, really glaring. Mm-hmm. It's just like, that's, like, late 2000s level television CGI. I'd say, and that's pretty good for a fan film kind of budget. I'm really impressed with that.
And not only in casting did they get, Lee Merriweather. I'm not even sure if she was part of it from the beginning, or they thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we could get her? Also, the child actor, and I've noticed with fan films with child actors, you either get like your kid to do it, or you actually find a kid actor, and she seems like a kid actor to me. It either if she is maybe the daughter of like somebody who's directing it, I don't know if she was or not, but she comes across like pretty professional kid actor, which is something that's kind of like a little bit I will like notice in these films. Like you should be better than like Star Wars prequel kid actors, and and she definitely is.
Yeah. No, I was reasonably impressed with her. It's interesting because I think the biggest problem I had was just at the very beginning, as far as performances goes, just at the very beginning. And it wasn't even really either the actress's performance. I think it was that it was very apparent in that scene they were using ADR.
Yeah, that's it.
Like that just became really apparent really early on. But then when you were like looking at them talk, the lip syncs are pretty dead on. The audio quality was maybe just a little too good or something, but you could still tell it wasn't them actually speaking, it was dubbed in. From that point on, I'm assuming they didn't switch techniques. I'm assuming they just kept with dubbing it in, but it looked better with the flashback stuff for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Or maybe they didn't dub it in. Maybe they decided that didn't look as good and they wanted to go more natural. I don't know, but whatever it was, it looked fine. It looked really good from then on, so yeah. So all that being said, what do you think of the plot this is setting up, given that this is planned to be a series, not just a standalone fan film?
Correct. Yeah. Let's see. It definitely looks like they're going with the Burton Catwoman, where there's a supernatural reincarnation element to it.
The number of times I've had to tell people that is not a thing from the comics. It's just Tim Burton making shit up.
I know, it's amazing to me how that is so stuck. Because don't forget, the Halle Berry Catwoman is technically a sequel to Batman Returns, and it uses the same damn thing. I don't know why. It's like, well, I guess that proves the success of that movie. It's just like people won't let that go.
Oh, yeah. I had so many conversations with people, like, about Riddler in between The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. Everyone was in sequel speculation. I was like, oh, they should use Riddler. And I remember so many people told me, well, Riddler wouldn't really make sense, because how would you work mind control into the Nolan films? I'm like, that's not a thing! It's just... God damn it!
They gave Riddler Mad Hatter's thing!
Yeah, but so this does seem to, at least, if not like directly using the Burton Catwoman resurrection supernatural thing, it seems to be paying heavy homage. Because like it wouldn't be unbelievable that she like passed out and was face down in the pool, but then just, had a last second gasp kind of thing. It's not beyond the realm of physically possible. It's just extremely exceptional. And it just, because it's Catwoman and the character has that baked into her history now, that's what we as fans think of.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. It is pretty subtly done where you could make that argument.
Yeah, you don't have like 9 cats run up to her and
maybe we'll maybe see, if they're planning future installments, we'll maybe see if that really is, or if they're going to leave it at that, which would be fine with me. I think I really like the fact that she's on this case with, that's very obviously the Riddler she's working with. under Maroney.
Is it Maroney?
Yeah, it's Maroney.
Oh yeah, Sal. She keeps
Sal
calling him
Maroney.
Sal. That's why. Okay.
And I'll maybe get in performances later, but he's really good. Yeah, I just like the whole kind of like, I don't know, just, the old person telling a young person a story kind of like framing device is usually pretty much a winner. I really do like it quite a bit. Although I think it is, in this case, it's like kind of obvious she's talking about herself. Yeah,
which, I mean, it's kind of weird that she's like, your grandmother used to steal things, but was involved with the mafia, and I told them I'm not okay with them killing people. I'll steal plenty, but you can't kill people while I'm on the job. And they didn't like that, so your grandma got choked out and left in a pool to die. Like, once you make that connection, it gets really awkward really fast. Like, grandma's going to a home after this, probably.
He threw me in the water as life began to leave my body with his thick hand across my neck, choking it deeply. Where are you going? Why are you crying?
Which, I mean, to be fair, she does say, oh, I don't want to give you nightmares. So, like, I'm wondering if this is like the polished version that you tell the kid, like this is the safe version. So I don't know, like what if they're going for that, connection, I do want to see how that plays out with the kid, but more importantly, I want to know the damn origin of this Catwoman action figure so badly.
I just keep thinking like, ring, ring, hello, Mom, did you tell Debbie about this? Someone trying to murder you. She can't sleep. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Don't go near the pool. She keeps asking how you are.
Oh, this is sad. Okay, moving on. Yeah, so like there's stuff like that where I'm like, at the moment it feels kind of silly, kind of ridiculous, but I'm willing to give them, I feel they built up enough credibility with the with what they're doing so far that they're going to provide satisfactory, if not compelling reasons for the choices they make in this little, I guess we'd call it the prologue.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's just like, it's kind of fun to like talk about just in isolation, but I think I don't want to like give the creators involved the sense that was done poorly. I think it's just kind of fun to talk about in isolation.
I am curious to how, if every chapter of this is planned to use this framing device, or are we going to come back to it maybe in the final episode? They could do it either way at this point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd like to see more of this, just because you have that actress. You should really get all the mileage you can out of that.
Oh yeah.
That's just such a cool connection to have. You really should get all the mileage you can out of that.
And also, it's cool for her as an actor to revisit this character, like, later in life, in a completely different setting. And as far as she's concerned, it is the same universe. Like, yeah, look, this is my version of the character. I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's a good point. So let's talk about character consistency, because Catwoman's always had a very loose morality. What is she okay with? What is she not okay with? Yeah. How did you feel the whole I'm okay with stealing, but not if you're going to kill people? How do you feel that plays into her character?
I mean, especially if we're talking like a pre-Catwoman Selina, that definitely did feel like within character of her. I mean, she's someone who feels it's okay to steal, especially from like other rich people or other like criminals or someone unsavory. But I mean, yeah, that was definitely for her crossing the line, especially in that setting where that guy, wasn't, Hamilton Hill, by the way, wasn't that much of a threat. He was unarmed, and
I guess I don't know who Hamilton Hill is. I thought that was just a random name.
No, that's the mayor in the animated series.
Ah, fun.
But yeah, I mean, he was unarmed. I mean, yeah, he was approaching them, which some people will do if you break into their kitchen in the middle of the night.
Right.
You know, I always find, you know, when I break into people's homes in the middle of the night, if you get caught, you should just run instead of murder. But some people go right to murder. Yeah,
you never go right to murder.
And so, yeah, I thought that was really consistent. That's actually why I mentioned earlier, like, there are times where I forgot this wasn't an official release. Is that because, you know, sometimes with these films people act a little off because, you know, it's the particular fan creator who wants to do their own take and what they think of the character. But I mean, this really did feel pretty consistent.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, especially with Riddler, who, yeah, I mean, he's working with her and he feels like, I don't know, it does seem like when, you know, Selina is like bumped off, he's kind of not cool with it, but it's like, well, you know, I'm not going to screw this up for me by doing anything.
Yeah, like it is that very like uncomfortable kind of thing. Like he's certainly not happy that she just got killed, but yeah, he's definitely not the type to stand up for her and get himself killed or anything like that. Very opportunistic style of Riddler here. Like they call him Nashton instead of Nigma. That's the name he gets. That's, you know, not super on the nose obvious in the comics most of the time. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, in the credits he's listed as Eddie.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Yeah,
I like the way Riddler's played too. That does seem like a very pre-Joker Riddler. In my headcanon for the DC universe, Joker's the first proper Gotham supervillain, and then everyone else follows suit with that afterward. I always love that line in The Dark Knight. It's like, I'm not a monster, I'm just ahead of the curve. And they never got to play with that properly, but that's something that's always worked for me. So I like the idea that, like, you know, Selina Kyle was always stealing stuff. Riddler was always committing crimes in a very, like, techie kind of manner. But, like, Joker came around, it was all pomp, circumstance, flashiness, and so everyone else kind of followed suit after.
Yeah.
Is kind of the way I like to think of it. And so this is, like, it's really right up my alley. It is exactly what I'm kind of, like, the kind of Gotham development that I like to get. Like, I've got a very particular path for the Bat family, Batman, and everyone in mind, and it's weird because no one's ever quite done it. But I always really like if things start in a very Nolan-esque, very down-to-earth, realistic. Batman shows up, makes everything more dramatic, and you know, everyone's wearing costumes. The mob goes away, falling victim to the freaks like Joker. The Joker inspires others to kind of take after him, bring crime into the spotlight, and then it progressively gets more and more comic book cartoony crazy. There's never been anything that has gone for that exact path, but that's always been like my version of the Batman, you know, mythos. And so this seems like it might be right in line with that kind of thing. It's at least starting out right in line. The fact that Catwoman's got a frickin' action figure 50 years down the line tells me it might just be exactly what I'm hoping for.
I would agree with that. That's actually been kind of my kind of headcanon about it as well. And I think if you look at a lot of the comics and film and TV, I think there's a loose string you could follow. I don't know how planned it is by everyone who works on Batman everything. But yeah, I would definitely see that. And I've always been of the mindset, like, you know, the mob is still there, but they're just not the driving force that they once were. Almost like a has-been, not a has-been person, but, you know, a has-been kind of like past their point of being totally relevant, but they're still there, strong enough to be like a factor, kind of replaced by, you know, the supervillain psychos brought on by Batman. It's like, hey, I mean, that speech of escalation that Gordon has in Batman Begins, I think, is like I think crystallizes this concept.
Yeah, the Nolan films did a lot for those ideas, and it's kind of interesting, and I want to get back to the fan film itself, but it's kind of interesting that, like, superhero movies have kind of followed that example since. Like, the Nolan films got all this rave for being, you know, really grounded down to earth, and then you've got the MCU starts off, and it kind of starts that way, but then by the time you get to Avengers, it starts to amp up and get crazier and crazier.
Yes,
And so even the DC universe has kind of followed that. Man of Steel tried to be like kind of in the coattails of Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, and then you get like fucking Aquaman, and there's like a goddamn Lord of the Rings under the sea scene in that movie. And Julie Andrews voices Kraken. It's kind of cool. Anyway,
that's really funny. Really?
Yeah. The big ass sea monster in Aquaman is voiced by Julie Andrews. It's hilarious.
That is fantastic.
Anyway, back to this fan film though. So just the tone of this is something I quite like for like early pre-costume kind of Gotham is what I was initially trying to get at before I derailed us. But yeah, this is that tone that I'm like, yes, I'm so into this before everything goes crazy. That's like, it's so good right there. And so I really like that. I do like a lot of the tone that sets up. And again, that action figure, I'm waiting with bated breath for the explanation of that action figure. And I gotta tell you, I am subscribing to this channel because I want to see where they go with this series.
I'll be okay if they don't explain the origins of the action figure, because I don't know, it's kind of a trope I've seen in comic books and Marvel particularly, but also DC, where like the culture will kind of like merchandise these heroes and villains, which if you think about it too much would be a little weird. But I mean, look at our own world. Like, you occasionally can find a Barack Obama action figure.
Oh, and you can get Michael Jordan action figures and stuff like that too. Those were fucking Space Jam, right?
Exactly.
Like these were all things, and so it's not unbelievable that the superheroes be merchandised. I was talking to Alfie on our Klaus episode, and we were talking about Superman and Lex Luthor, and I'm like, my headcanon is Lex Luthor patented or got the copyright to the Superman symbol and makes Superman merchandise under the table so that it's not tied back to him, and it just kind of pisses Superman off that it's out there. I can totally see that stuff existing.
Yeah, it's not like a superhero can really copyright their stuff. And they, in a way, kind of belong to the world. I mean, well, shit, like, Superman will sometimes say something like that, like he belongs to the world. Like, well, great, I'm, like, buying your super symbol there. Putting a copyright on that motherfucker.
Yeah, and so it's just one of those things, it's like, really inherently interesting. It's tonally consistent with the thing I'm hoping for, so I'm just going to say that I'm hoping for that. I'm not going to, like... If the fan film doesn't do it, doesn't ever provide an explanation or like a callback to why that figure exists, I'm not going to make a deal out of it or anything. I'm just saying that like that is in line with a thing I enjoy, and so it's got me hopeful, and that's exciting. It's cool when a fan film can excite you, because they're these little passion projects that people do, and it's just that. It's that chance for a creator to give voice to their version of a thing they've kind of always wanted to be, but there's no like one particular thing already out there that exists. Yeah. So it's just their chance to kind of breathe that life into it, and it's cool when that can kind of line up with your own expectations and such.
I would definitely agree with that.
All right, you said you wanted to talk more about performances from some of the other actors.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, we talked a little bit briefly about it. Like, the little kid and Lee Merriweather are really good. Let's see, what's her name? Ellie Brown, who plays Selena, is quite good as well. And I gotta say, like, I really liked Sal Maroni. He had a nice little entrance where, you know, we see him come in walking from the back, and I'm kind of sucker for those kind of shots. It's like, oh, fuck, who's this guy? He's gonna come fuck shit up, and I don't know. That shot always kind of means that, like, oh no, let's look out. Mm-hmm. And I think he's missing in this, and of course, yeah. I mean, the other actors as well. Not sure if I think it's Rossi who's the guy who pulls the trigger.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if he's an existing character. It feels like if they pulled a Hamilton Hill out, that this guy's got to be somebody. But I guess I'm not familiar enough with Catwoman continuity to know if he's like someone particular to Catwoman or what.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Batman fan, and there's a lot of like deep lore shit I'll jump at, but every once in a while, like a character will come up like, is this a thing? Is this? Mm-hmm. There's so much. It's like it's easy to miss. It's easy to miss stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, is Rossi a character? I'm gonna have to Google Rossi Batman and see if that comes up to an actual character. I think that was actually played by the director or one of the filmmakers or something like that.
Okay. I thought the acting from the all the mob guys was really good. Riddler kind of nearly stole the show for me. I just had the moment when he like gets on the phone, I was like, "Hey, boss, got a problem." Like I know that feel. I know that feel so well. That was pretty good. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's stuff like that really worked for me. I'm trying to think of some other stuff like acting wise that I thought was pretty good. Pretty good like choke scene, which I know sounds weird, but like I'm so used to in movies when someone's being choked, they like just try to pry the fingers and they never try like doing anything else but pry the fingers from their throat. Or I'm like, if someone's choking you, you know, they have to have at least one hand preoccupied. It seems like you have other options. So like, I like I'm not sure if that's a direction choice or an acting choice, but like I like the fact that she's actually trying to like hit the arm or at least something else. Yeah. I don't know why no one ever goes for the eyes in those scenes. That's like a Shane Black thing that should happen in one of his movies eventually. That's the exact kind of thing he'd do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, if someone's choking you, all bets are off. Hit anything. Right.
So I don't know, just like, it's just a neat little thing. I did pick up on it. I wanted to make sure I shouted that out because I thought that was pretty good. It is an intense-ass scene while he's doing it, too. Like, it's that kind of almost sympathetic, but you're still, like, clearly the bad guy kind of moment, where he's like, he really does look like he doesn't want to be doing this, and he tries to give her, like, at least 5 exit ramps from this situation, and she doesn't take any of them. And so it's like there is actual regret in the moment, even though it's like so so clearly villainous to do. So I thought there's a lot of layers to that really worked for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know what else. Do you got any other moments that really stood out to you as like really cool?
Oh boy, man, we've hit kind of like a lot of the high notes. I'd rather like this quite a bit. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of running out of ideas, really.
All right, well, that's fine. We'll go ahead and go on to ratings then.
Sure.
Manos, what will you rate this fan film?
I enjoyed this quite a bit. It's very professionally shot. The acting's really good. It's really cool to see Lee Merriweather, like, show up and, like, reprise playing Catwoman. Wink, wink. It's totally not Catwoman. But I dug this a lot, and I'd be willing to go all the way to maybe 5 out of 5 inappropriate grandma stories.
Fair enough. I did really enjoy this. I'm definitely going to subscribe to the channel, check out future installments. Oddly enough, they've got a Blade fan film posted as well that I've had in my watch later for quite a while, so I might have to check that out down the line too. I'm going to go ahead and give this... Really, I don't think I have any complaints about this one outside of that one thing I mentioned about the ADR, which just isn't enough to take anything away from me. So, yeah, for a fan film, this is really solid stuff. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Catwoman action figures.
Yeah. This has been a while since we've had one that hit all 10 points.
Yay!
Not bad.
All right.
Congratulations! Rise of the Catwoman, Chapter 1, DC Comics fan film.
Alrighty. Next week, then, we will be discussing a franchise that we kind of talked about somewhat recently, but that's okay. And that is AVP Redemption HD. This is a fan film that's like trying to tell an AVP story on film that doesn't suck. So that should be fun. Everyone, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
And I'm the Realist.
And we are your Geeky Gentlemen. And we will be discussing things.